Now, but speaking of the insane ideological left-wingism of this Labor Party, a great story by Janet Albertson in the Australian during the week about how Papua New Guinea, we want people to come here to this country from Papua New Guinea on scholarships to learn, you would have thought, things like farming techniques, how to set up businesses, get small businesses going and so on. But no, thanks to Penny Wong and Labor, across the application form itself, Rita, in huge letters, applications focusing on gender, climate change and disability studies are strongly encouraged. So they're ramming this woke garbage down. Poor Papua New Guineans, all they want to do is learn how to build their economy up and have a successful country, and they've got these idiots like Wong pushing this woke garbage down their throats.
So instead of focusing on things like, I don't know, medicine, agriculture,
law,
ways to improve the lives of their people, this impoverished country, no, let's do gender studies and all announce our pronouns before we...
James?
Oh, well, no, you know, this is, the left bangs on about colonialism all the time, right? Exactly. They always say, oh, you know, the evil white colonialist, countries, well, this is colonialism, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is what woke left colonialism is. It goes into countries like PNG and it says, hey, we've got to talk about trans stuff. You want the aid? We've got to have pronouns, all of this sort of thing. This happens all over the place. The United States and the now defunct USAID was the #1 pusher of that. And I'll tell you what, there's a real security implication to this, because around the Pacific and around the world, when Western countries like pre-Trump United States and Australia now go out to these countries and they say, hey, we'll give you some aid. China just gives you the aid with no strings attached around this. We go in and say, hey, okay, well, maybe we'll help you build this bridge, but how's the Pride Parade planning going? And in these traditional societies, people go, that's not what we want. We're just going to go with China, thank you very much. There's a real, security implication behind this lefty, woke, neo-colonial mindset that just really actually does us a ton of damage. If Jacinta Price wants to come in and do a Doge type of thing here in Australia, if the coalition win, this is exactly the sort of thing that they need to get rid of.
Well, I'd love to be hearing about the Doge ideas from the coalition. Every day we should be hearing about the government waste. They should have Jacinta Price on the television every single day saying this is how your money is being wasted by this Labor government. Rita.
They are trying to go into this election being a small target, announcing very little that the left can have a meltdown about, and that is not the way for any Conservative alternative to be elected in this country. You actually need to stand for something. You have to have the strength to actually argue a position. And talking about China, the Chinese state media is not shy about saying who they're backing. They're saying Peter Dutton is beating the drums of war, but they've been praising Anthony Albanese for speaking the truth. So I don't know, just take that as...
Well, I have a theory on that there, Rita. I actually think that this is part of a very calculated strategy that Beijing has right now. Put that in terms of the spy ship, which they just spent down along the way. It feels to me like what they're really trying to do here is goad Peter Dutton into coming up with a very tough, strong response, like Scott Morrison, very much to his credit, did back when he was Prime Minister. And I think that's something that we always have to give Scott Morrison credit for, the toughness that he took on Beijing. But I think they are looking for a way to create China as an issue, because we know that also the Liberals' own election review of the 2022 campaign found that Morrison's rhetoric got a lot of Chinese Australians offside, and I think that they're trying to recreate a similar situation here. Just my theory.